Ladies and gentlemen, big hairy news. Big hairy news.
Oh,
What is this?
That's a way to start the show.
isn't Anna supposed to have special lighting or something?
Probably. I just had a thought 2 seconds ago. Wait, who's saying the A? Because you're in the hot seat there, Pat, and I'm in the second. So I thought for a second, is it just going to be a moment where we both say, A, welcome to BHN? Or is there going to be neither of us say, A, welcome
You're in
to
charge.
BHN?
You're in charge, Eames. You do it. You're the boss.
All right. Hey, kia ora koutou te whānau. Welcome back to Big Hairy
I
News
have
with
red spots
myself,
in front of my eyes now.
Pat, who's blind himself, and Bluey Chewy. What's up, guys?
Oof. Kia ora whānau. If they didn't catch us on Friday, if you didn't pick up on it, my wife has COVID, and she has chosen to isolate downstairs. And so rather than mess her around, 'cause that's where the studio is, I've just put Emily in charge, and I'm upstairs sort of in the dining room. Still got the Christmas lights up, of course. You guys know I have that up all year round. I can show you. See, Christmas lights still going. Look, see, Christmas lights still going.
So there you go. There you go, haters. Pat's not in his mum's basement anymore. He's
No,
in his mum's dining room.
Yeah, with her Christmas lights. Yeah, so that's why the different setup, and because I couldn't get in the studio, it's harder to prepare and it's harder to do editing afterwards. So Emily's in charge, and me and Chewy get to be good or bad little fellas tonight.
I feel like this is probably more
Oh,
accurate.
miss. I don't know. I felt like being mean to like a substitute teacher, but I can't do that.
Don't be mean to me, Chewy.
Those
Tell
days
you
are
what.
behind me.
I should also say, because I haven't been downstairs, I haven't made credits this week. So people who are lovely patrons who have joined up in the last week or so, I suspect I will be back downstairs maybe tomorrow or Wednesday. I don't know. We'll see how it pans out. But you'll get a shout out this week anyway. It just won't be tonight. Never mind, you guys. Is Nala okay? You know the thing about where Nala is right now? You guys know my house. She is at the end of the hallway at the top of the stairs that go downstairs, and she's laid there all weekend. So she's right smack dab in the middle of me and her human mama, and that's where she's been lying all weekend, just at the top of the stairs. So that's where she is right now.
I think you two she'll be thinking that you two guys are having a bit of a row and that she's split between her parents, you know?
I haven't wanted to admit that yet, but you've sprung us. You've sprung me in.
So
No, that's the truth, is it?
just if I could do a very smooth segue here. Imagine if Nala was a member, was a national MP. Who do you think Nala would be? Stuck between the current leader, dead man walking, lame.
Mark Mitchell.
Luxon, and Mark Mitchell, the Luxon loyalist, is sitting here going, "I love you, Daddy, but I know that you're a lame duck." That's quite the image.
I don't know if we're going to watch it tonight, Ian, but the coverage they put on 3 was quite interesting. And at the end of it, what they're saying is it's a bit of a misleading headline. It's like, all of his ministers are behind him. Well, they haven't had caucus yet. Caucus is tomorrow. If anything's going to happen, it's going to happen tomorrow. And like, everyone's behind them. And the evidence of that is just getting as many ministers as they could as they came through the airport going, "Do you support him?" And of course, they all went, "Yes," because that's what you do the day before someone gets rolled.
Oh, that's my favourite though, Pat. My absolute favourite. Of course, I support Christopher Luxon. He's the Prime Minister, the best Prime Minister for the moment.
Yeah, who was that? It was one of the female MPs. And let me just say this: when I say get rolled tomorrow, I don't know if he will. like I was I felt pretty confident on Friday that he probably would once I hit 28, but there's been a few more thoughts and feels over the weekend. A little bit of input from Mr. Clint Smith as well. I'll talk to you about what he's had to say. He may come on later in the week and talk about it. But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see the next 24 hours.
Now, people are saying that my mic is very quiet.
Yeah, have you got it in front of you, Chewy, or are you just sort of...
You're sitting on it.
I've turned it up to 140%.
Not good enough.
So
is it just because Pat's really
hopefully
loud?
that's
You
better.
can turn him down.
You can turn me down because I'm just wearing the AirPods. That's where I'm going off tonight.
Okay. I've thrown you down.
Thanks. Violence at the start of the week. Sheesh.
Get down the stairs, boy.
But anyway, producer Ems is in charge tonight, so we should kowtow to the all-powerful, all-knowing, and then you can tell us what we're talking about tonight, Ems. What are we focusing on?
What are we
Look
doing?
at you opening up windows late. Well done. I saw that.
No, I was putting it. It's already open. It's fine.
There's going to be a review after this.
The pressure. Well, obviously we've got the big news that keeps on giving and will never end. Is the Luxon.
That never ends, that goes on and on, my friend. Sorry.
Pretty much. We didn't really get to talk about fuel on Friday, but there's obviously more developments there, which I think is a very interesting story because I think there's some gaslighting going on in terms of how much fuel we actually have and the impact of it.
I thought Luxon, if it is as Luxon explained it this morning, both in on Hoskins this morning and also in the press conference about us having stocks, that's actually quite a good move by these guys. If you're saying that's not the case, that's interesting. Looking forward to talking about that.
It might not just be the case.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay.
And then I was going to talk about some of the world leaders. There's just constant changes about the position of some of the international governments around the world. But actually, I found a bit of a scary story about the soon-to-be ambassador for the US to New Zealand. Which have some very scary remarks in there that sound like they have plans for us as opposed to a partnership between us. So
God
that's
damn
what
it.
I'm reading into it. Chewy, you are the international foreign affairs expert.
The BHN Foreign Affairs spokesperson, Chewy.
History and war, so we'll get your opinion on it. Yes, Pat.
Chewy sounds incredibly loud to me right now. I don't know if that's the same for people out there, or almost too hot and is kind of popping at the top. But the other thing to let you know is I had a conversation with a gentleman yesterday. We'll keep it all on the DL for a little bit at the moment. But a Kiwi photographer who's going to America. He has a bit of a passion for political stuff, and he has got himself access to CPAC, the Conservative PAC, the conference. And he is at the moment trying to set up interviews and that sort of thing. So we might actually have, speaking of it, the BHN representative to it, we might have a BHN reporter at CPAC this year.
Oh, Jesus.
Because that's just how big and powerful we are.
Interesting. Well, we've got lots to get through, so shall we get started with the thank yous? Pat, you're always much better at doing this. No, we're not saying no. Okay.
Sorry, I just had to get that out.
Case in point. You're so professional and so well worded that I will let you do the thank you to patrons. So.
Thanks, dudes. You guys are freaking awesome. Sorry we haven't got the update right now. The other thing is to people who have shopped with us, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but everything was packaged up today and sent. I didn't package it up. I won't tell you who did, just in case it goes badly. But it was all put on the courier today if you've got an order. I think everything, and maybe a couple of people who had broken cups did not get on the orders today. They'll probably be going out the next day or so. I can't get downstairs to get into the area where we do merch, but that's all been on there. So thank you for the merch, people. Let me tell you this as well, Fano. The price of the mugs is going to have to go up a little bit. We have had a very small number of breakages in post, very small, like 4%. but New Zealand Post are being absolute pricks about it. And so we are going to have to we've bought bigger boxes to send them in, and the bigger boxes are a bit more of a cost. And it means if we charge that much, we're kind of almost losing money on the mug. So they're going to go up by a couple of bucks. But what that means is until I can get in downstairs and get them sorted, if you'd like to order a cup, now would be the time to do it, because the price is going to be going up by not a lot, maybe $3 or $4 total. When I get back into my studio. So thanks to the patrons. You are the guys who keep us going every single day. You are the guys who help us pay bills. And thanks to the people who shop at the merch store. That's all up and running. And we've been sending out lots of those Ditch the Pricks, man. That's been going pretty hard nuts. And big time to get in. bhn.nz/shop. Is that okay, Em? Do I pass? Do I get a call back?
Well done. And if you'd like to join us on Patreon, where you can go to bhn.nz, and the link is up here if you want to find us, patreon.com/bighearingnews, and you can join us over there if you'd like to support us and be one of our big helpers that help make things happen. Sound about right? I don't know what.
Sounds good.
Yeah, this is why there's... chaos once again. Please don't tell me I have to do this all week, Pat.
Yep, by yourself as well. We're gonna mention we got a date. Okay.
Honestly, I think I might prefer that. Okay. Less chaos. Alrighty. I don't even know where to start with all of this stuff. And all my tabs are in the wrong place. I know you guys.
Chewy, you've thrown M's off, Chewy. What have you done?
Yeah.
I've done nothing.
I know that you guys spoke about this when you did the live on Friday, but after you saw the way that Stuff covered it, because TVNZ did not do a piece about the Luxon, which was very interesting, and I was texting Pat at the time, and I was like, oh yes, that's not great considering the Goldsmith stuff this week. Oh, that's not great considering the Goldsmith stuff this week.
And to spell that out for who aren't quite aware, to put those connect those dots, Goldsmith was accused, and so was Mark Mitchell actually, of putting pressure on TVNZ because they didn't like the narrative they put through on a story. And so TVNZ then ran the story like they liked it. Now, we've got to be careful. They may have had it in the bag anyway. It might have been in the can to play out. It makes sense. It probably was. But, we all know about Mr. Luxon, who is as concerned about the appearance of things as the things themselves. He said that very clearly about the Public Journalism Fund. The appearance of bias is basically, it doesn't matter if it's only an appearance. So appearances matter. And then on Friday night, I'm watching the news. I don't often watch on Friday night, but it was actually quite a big news day, and TVNZ had nothing on it whatsoever. And I'm like, well, that's a bit weird. Are we going to do the bit with Jack Tame, or is that for later on? Because if it's not, I'll mention it now.
Mention it now, actually, because I haven't got that one.
So Jack Tame in the weekend, and I'm sure everyone's seen it. If you want to find it quickly, it's on Mountain Tilly's page. Jack Tame said really clearly on Sunday morning on Q&A, hey guys, we are the only publicly funded political show in New Zealand. And he made a big deal about the Prime Minister not coming on. And he made a big deal about it because of the big week there has been. Now, that involved two things. Iran, obviously, but more so what happened on Friday, because Iran was also the previous weekend. So you can't say it was only about Iran. So I found it particularly interesting that on Sunday morning, Jack Tame was saying, this is a really big week. We need to hear from the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister won't come on the show. Yet, Jack Tame, who doesn't make the decisions for Friday nights, but was reading the news on Friday night when they didn't consider it big enough news to feature in the One News story. So it was big enough news to you should come on for an interview on Q&A, but not big enough story to be on One News. There's something amiss there. And I didn't realize this, but because I've been sort of a little bit kneecapped from my stuff I've been looking around today, and interesting algorithms have come up. I've seen several of those icky people that we sometimes feature in this show also pointing out that TVNZ didn't feature it on Friday night. And what's that all about? And why wouldn't that have been? Why didn't they do that? So yeah, interesting that Friday night it wasn't big enough for the One News network, but Sunday morning it was so big he should have been here. So something's going on. I almost feel like we need to send them a letter or an email saying, you guys have the right to respond. What is the editorial decisions in these 2 days seem so different? So there you go, Ems. That helps.
Yeah. I'll play that wee clip because I have brought it up. I managed to find it very quickly. Thank you to Mountain Tui
This is
for
Sunday morning,
chopping
yeah?
it up. I believe so. Yes. Believe so. Yeah.
15 months since the Prime Minister last sat here for an interview. Now, a reminder, we are publicly funded, the only general publicly funded politics show in New Zealand. We've done more than 80 shows in the 2 and a bit years since Christopher Luxon was sworn in as Prime Minister, and in all that time, he has appeared here in studio just once. Given the momentous events of this week, we felt it was a critical time to hear from Christopher Luxon on Q&A. He declined our invitation, which means it's now more than 15 months since the Prime Minister last sat here for an interview. Now, a reminder, we are...
I appreciate the political conviction.
Yeah. So he does say momentous events of the week. So you could say that's leading to the Iran conversation, but Iran was happening the previous Sunday as well. So I just get the sense that obviously a part of those momentous occasions were the polls on Friday morning that weren't important enough to feature on One News on Friday night. So anyway, just an observation.
Yeah, like he's spoken about this before, and it's only got longer. And I'm pretty sure that Luxon is hoping that he can skate through in the next couple of months without going on Q&A. Like, that would be a bloodbath.
He's toast. Yeah, he's toast whenever he goes on. But I guess as the leader of all the supporters of Luxon, Jacinda Ardern wouldn't go on News Talk ZB. That's not entirely true. She just stopped her regular. I don't think she should have stopped it, but she stopped her regular check-in and she said, I'm available when and as needed. So it wasn't like a carte blanche, I will not go on. Whereas it seems for Luxon at the moment, it's a bit of a carte blanche. And the longer he leaves it, I think the worse it's going to be. Because you know what Q&A will do? They'll give him the full hour. And he'll be eviscerated halfway through and lying there with his guts open for the second half of the interview.
Yeah. About Jacinda not going on News Talk and that, I saw a Facebook account called Holden Deadfish Rifle Gun say that that was just because Cindy didn't want to go on. Are you saying that that's different? She doesn't like the hard questions. That's what that random Facebook profile. I think the image was a bald guy with glasses taking a selfie inside a car. Are you saying he's not a reliable source?
Well, I mean, what he's saying might be accurate. She didn't want to go on. I think the way they sold it is that she had, this middle of COVID, bro. She couldn't make her time every single Monday morning at 7:30 a.m. But, look, you know what I actually think? I actually think that the politicians should have to go on RNZ. It's a public broadcaster. They should all have regular slots on RNZ, and then anyone else to fight for it. I don't give a shit about News Talk ZB. In fact, News Talk ZB, all that happens when the Prime Minister goes on News Talk ZB every time is it helps pay News Talk ZB's bills.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
This is out, so he should. Yeah.
Well, I think also for that time period, Jacinda was already dealing with a really nasty, vicious virus. Did she really have time to deal with another one?
Yeah.
Called Mike Hoskins?
The other one is COVID. She was already dealing with Mike Hoskins, is that what you're saying? And then there was also COVID?
No, I think the other way around. Like, you can't avoid COVID, but you can avoid Mike Hoskins, and that is a blessing.
Mm.
All right. Well, do you want to... I know you said the stuff piece, but I actually think the One News piece was better.
Sure.
And seeing as they didn't do the coverage on Friday, probably right that they did the coverage.
I'm surprised
today.
they featured it tonight.
They did feature it tonight, and actually,
Why,
I think
hang on.
Mikey had
Must have let them.
the best.
But why would one feature it tonight when the news was actually from Friday? See, the thing about the news is the hint in the name new. It's not the olds. So they're doing a Friday story today, that they didn't find enough importance. And you know what they did show on Friday night, interestingly enough, that an ex-national MP has gone to top. That was important enough to show. And what happened when the police pulled over Britney Spears? That was also in One News on Friday night, quite literally. But they didn't think that this story, which they apparently, I haven't seen it on One, but apparently featuring on One tonight, wasn't important enough. That's weird, eh? It just gets weirder, actually, to be honest.
Maybe Mikey.
Maybe
had the
it
night
just
off.
took that long for Goldsmith to approve the copy.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
That's concerning. All right, we'll have a listen to the One News story and how they covered it. And I think they had my favourite moment with Judith. I think Mikey got the zinger at the end there. And this is flowing on, if you're wondering what this is about, flowing on from the Iran story, which is what they led with, which I actually think is fair from TV1. Let's go.
The rising cost of oil is just one of the issues adding pressure to the Prime Minister, who insists he'll be leading his party to the election later this year, despite a poor result in a recent poll. It led to speculation about his position over the weekend, but as political editor Mikey Sherman reports, Christopher Luxon is determined to charge ahead.
The Prime Minister back in the capital facing his biggest scrutiny as leader to date.
How safe is your leadership, Prime Minister? Have you been mulling over your leadership over the week?
I don't know if you saw that very micro facial where he went from, I mean, you're
Not my
exactly
friends.
right. Yeah, you can just see his face drop.
His biggest scrutiny as leader to date.
How safe is your leadership, Prime Minister? Have you been mulling over your leadership over the weekend?
Thanks, guys. I'll see you later. Take care.
Do you have the full support of your caucus?
His ministers today closing ranks.
I'm not even getting into that discussion at all. It's not relevant. It's not something that we should be talking about.
Look, it's been a tough few weeks, but we're going to put some good weeks together, and we've got everything to fight for.
And Christopher Luxon is fighting.
Frankly, I'll just say to you, the reason I don't comment on polls is because there's a lot of them. And, there's no perfect week in politics. Last week wasn't a perfect week.
It was at his Monday.
Also, he keeps saying, I do not comment on polls, which was true until, I think, this poll. But he says, I never comment on polls. I never comment on polls. And then continues to speak. Like I imagine if someone didn't want to comment on the polls, they would just go, I don't comment on polls, next question. But it's always like, I don't comment on the polls. Lots of polls come out. Polls say this, polls say that. I'm like, well, there you go. You are now commenting on the polls.
Yeah.
If he doesn't care, just shut it down. Pisses me off.
Monday media conference last week, he struggled.
We're not saying that. What we're saying is that we understand this. I don't know how to be any clearer, guys.
Then on Friday, another big knock. The Taxpayers Union Courier poll showing National dropping 3 points to 28%.
So once again, just to highlight, this is no longer news. This is TVNZ now doing the olds. Because it would have been news on Friday night, because that's when it was new. And now they're doing it on Monday when it's olds. Thank you. That's all.
In party support. The party hasn't been that low since Judith Collins was in charge.
And I'm very supportive of the Prime Minister.
The last time the numbers were that low, you lost your job. Is that a sign of things to come?
It's certainly not.
The poll result...
That was my favourite moment. That's why One News One beats it.
Dude, she could have gone harder. Like, do you remember that, Judith? Do you remember that time? You did a prayer in front of cameras. Do you remember? We all hated it. It went very badly. Do you remember that, Judith? When you lost your job? Oh, you seem to be in a hurry. Okay, I'll let you go.
Certainly not.
The poll result led to feverish speculation. The PM was taking the weekend to weigh up his options. Instead, he dug in, his social media going into overdrive.
We're all behind you, everyone in this country.
From the cricket to the races, each post defiantly declaring...
Pause that. Put on my Twitter feed. You can probably find it if you want. Just the video, I mean. Is that one about the cricket? If you can just play that bit about the cricket again, see what he says.
Is it this one?
Behind you? Yeah.
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 I noticed that. Great.
Yeah.
Options. Instead, he dug in, his social media going into overdrive.
We're all behind you, everyone in this country.
From the cricket to the races.
So the comments of that post were brutal, and mostly they were saying, "Are you talking about the Indian team or the New Zealand team, Mr. Prime Minister. That was just beautiful. It was wonderfully done.
Oh dear.
Post defiantly declaring Luxon wasn't hiding and he isn't going anywhere.
Have you considered resigning, Prime Minister?
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
What compelled you to shut down those rumours on Friday afternoon that you were going to go away and weigh up your options?
I got back to my office in Auckland on Friday afternoon, realised that the media had gone a bit bananas on it all, frankly, and thought, right, I better shut this thing down.
For context, the One News Varian poll over the past year has seen National fairly stable, with support bouncing around in the mid-30s, sitting at 34% just last month. But on 28%, Nicola Willis,
And you're right. This is very much the old news piece.
was blunt.
Minister Willis, you gave some pretty blunt assessments of that result in an interview last week. Was that helpful?
I think I just simply spoke the truth, which of course the Prime Minister and me, the National Party, want to be polling a lot better than that number.
We wouldn't want that number on election day, and it's not going to happen.
So while National today,
Again, commenting on the poll. I thought we don't comment or even acknowledge the polls.
True.
had enough.
And then for some reason, James Beaker had onions.
Bag of
and
onions,
they
yeah.
accosted him about his bag of onions. And then Mikey does.
So
her
there was
roundup.
one.
So
There was
yes.
one really interesting conversation. I watched that whole kind of 45-minute press conference, and I think it was probably Jenna Lynch, but one of the journalists said, I'm not remembering the exact word, but was basically asking, you understand we get tips from people close to you, eh? And you know, so are you suggesting that people close to you are lying to us? That was the kind of the essence of the question, because it's the people who are giving them the tips who are close to him who are the ones who are actually feeding this, not the media. And he didn't actually answer that, he moved on, but I thought it was quite an interesting question. It's like, you know, do you believe that people on your inside are telling us stories? Because if they are they wrong? So I thought it was fascinating. Yeah.
That was a very good question as well.
I've been following a lot of Luxon's comments through the weekend and into today. And there's one thing that I noticed is that he's bouncing around between, I have everybody's support. I'm 100% sure I have everybody's support. I'm really going to be the leader that'll take National into the election. But then also going, I haven't spoken to anybody. I'm not giving it much mind. I think you guys have gone crazy on this. New Zealanders don't want to talking about polls. They want me concentrating on fixing the basics, or whatever tagline he wants to use in this case. He's even repeated that thing of like, I don't listen to advice.
I think that was,
effect. I'm not listening to anybody's opinion on this.
I think that's one of the things that featured on the 3 article. I'm just looking at my notes that I sent to you, so it wasn't in those notes. So yeah, I think it was on the 3 article. They were basically saying to him, but if you're not talking to anyone, how do you know? So which is it? It's a really good question. And I guess how he knows is they've just had cabinet, but tomorrow at the caucus is when they'll actually, like for example, Whānau, if there's a press conference called after caucus tomorrow, it'll be all on. But yeah, long way to go. I'm not as confident that he'll be going as I always say, Chewy, I always get it wrong. I think he probably would go on Friday, which means he's probably not going to go.
I have that duality going on that I want this man to fail so incredibly hard. Like he's a mediocre, elevated above his station, failed upwards. You know, there's so many reasons why he should not be in that job, and I want him gone because of it. But then the other part of it is, no, man, believe in yourself. Follow your dreams. Be unaware. No, your colleagues aren't sharpening their knives constantly waiting for the right moment because they're not telling you that. Believe them. Take us to the election. Because I think him as the leader of the government, coalition, National in general, is the left's best chance at a one-term government.
Well, Chewy, that's a really good point. Because, by the way, someone in the chat just said, "Are all my caps downstairs?" Because I wore that on Thursday, so I thought I'd just change it out quickly.
Into the emergency hat stash.
I've got a couple over there as well, so we're all right. We're okay, fine. Don't panic. This is why when people are talking about sort of the left playing naughty games, like the left media wanting to get rid of Luxon, I think most that I've spoken to on the left would love to see Luxon stay. It's Matthew Hooton and the Taxpayers Union and those people that want to see Luxon gone. So if you're going to start pointing the finger out there, crunchies, saying, "Oh, you leftists, you just want to take him down." No. All of us are probably speaking one voice going, "This guy is terrible." There is a much better chance that the left coalition will win if he's there. So you don't look to the left to have that be a tactic.
Here's my dream, is that we can put together some sort of package from election night of some surreptitious footage of Luxon leaving whatever National Party event that he's, with his tie undone and a sad look on his face, and we can put some really sad music to it. That's my hope. Yeah. All around me are familiar faces. Like maybe just Luxon just by himself in a dark park on a swing by himself.
There you go.
That would be ideal.
Yeah, we hate AI, Fano, but someone could put Luxon on a swing. Luxon on a kid's swing or by himself, raining with that song in the background.
Hey, Luxury Marmite Sandwich, I hope you're watching.
Emily, are we, who's messaging me? Who's massaging me? Are we going to show that first 10 seconds from the press conference that I sent you? Because
I have it lined up.
Hilarious. Oh, we've got to show it. So, okay. Sorry, I don't want to take over here. Are we?
No, I have it lined up.
Okay, so the thing, Chewy, that I found, I literally laughed out loud watching a bloody press conference. Luxon gave us the reason in this press conference why he was so bad at the last press conference. He explained it all to us at the very start. Do you want to play it, Ems?
He did some prime minister splaining. Is that the best way I can put it?
Very good.
Oh, actually, hang on. Did I mute this? Did I do this? I did. I always do that. Why do I do that? All right. This time.
You and back to you, Prime Minister.
Okay, with that, we're happy to take any questions.
Prime Minister.
Sorry, just so we don't avoid the mistakes of Monday, if we can just go one at a time and politely with each other, so we respect each other. Thomas.
We don't. The mistakes of Monday was because we weren't going one at a time and respecting each other. It wasn't because I'm shithouse at this. It was like it was too much and we couldn't hear and we weren't respecting each other. So how bad Monday was, that's on you guys for not doing this thing.
How dare they? Honestly, how dare they? That rabble.
Very funny.
Yeah, very bad. One of the clips that you did timestamp, I think, is good to show, and that was the question around his communication, because I think we talked about it. I believe we talked about it on Friday. Or it might have been with you and I, Chewy. The comment of sometimes being a politician is actually kind of important, as opposed to, being a career politician, as opposed to I'm just a guy. Don't blame me for anything. Sometimes kind of important to be a politician, and it did come up about critiquing his communication and obviously his fumble last week, because that's kind of what started all of this, in my opinion. So he kind of explains himself, and then someone clarifies. Maybe we should be talking about your communication, because you are the Prime Minister, of course.
Crisis-free New Zealand, and I've dealt with that pretty admirably. Yeah.
Prime Minister, what skills do you bring to the leadership that no one else in your party can?
Oh, look, I think my focus is on building a great team and actually getting things delivered and done. As I've said, and you heard me say it last week, I'm not a career politician. I'm not going to have the perfect soundbite. I can reassure you, the one thing I can guarantee you going forward from here is there won't be perfect soundbites in the future either. But that's because I'm not a creature of this place and been here 20 years. I think actually people who know how to get things done and how to get the best out of a team and get the right ministers on the right assignments is really important. We've had prime ministers in the past that are fantastic communicators but don't deliver. And New Zealanders are over that, and they just want me to get on with the job, and that's what I'm doing.
Do you think that communicating to the public, which often is actually through the...
On day one as a CEO, Like the first day he's a CEO, he makes some statement and the stock prices drop by 10%. And he goes, well, I'm not a CEO. I haven't been around here for 20 years. It's like, but that's why I've got hired, because I've got new vision. And I didn't remember we were going to start this, but I'm very glad someone asked that question, because when he went in, or when he called in to Newstalk ZB, he said, what's the movie? I've got a very special set of skills. That movie. He basically said, I've got the right set of skills to do this job. And I was just listening, and all Heather needed to do is go, what skills are you talking about? Not like a patronizing way, but like what the person said today. What skills do you actually have to make you the right person for this job? But yeah, like I said, day one of a CEO, you can't go, well, I'm not really a CEO. I'm just a mid-level manager salesperson, and I come with a different view and da-da-da-da. You can't. You are a politician because you're the fucking prime minister. That's a political position, dick.
Can you imagine just rolling in and going, listen, guys, I don't talk real good. but I'm gonna throw some platitudes out there. I'm not a good worder. I don't know how to speak good, but I can build a team. Okay, what's the team that you've built?
Oh, they're all
like,
politicians.
honestly, what team have you built? Have you put people there? Or are they the people that were in the National Party that you just fucking took over? You had a golden parachute, a velvet slip and slide all the way into a safe seat, straight to the prime ministership. You did like one term. So what experience do you have? What transfers over from your job of selling deodorant in Canada and trying not to fuck up an airline for a few years translates into you leading an entire country? And at the end of your first term, what's gone well? Like point to something. You keep on talking about everyday Kiwis. Point to something that everyday Kiwis can go, oh, yep, no, you did do good. That's made a measurable impact in my life. Because it hasn't been cost of living. It hasn't been better healthcare. It hasn't been making sure that public servants are paid well or kept their jobs. Thousands of people have lost their jobs under your term. So you say you're fixing the basics. What are the basics? What are they? You keep on saying.
He got like a rugby league game to come to New Zealand though too. Like that could. Hey, here's something else, right? The velvet slip and slide.
And an EDM festival.
The velvet slip and slide does sound like a sex act that happens with rich people in Remuera for some reason. The other thing is, as a CEO, you speak improper bad, and your stocks drop 5%. As a prime minister, you speak improper bad, the whole fucking stock market could drop by 10%. I'm like, honestly, it's almost like kind of going, what responsibility do I really have? I'm not a politician. It's like this. The job description that you signed at the start, the title of it is politician. You're employed by us to be a politician. You are a politician. And if you cock up your words said badly, not proper words used, that could be an international incident, or a sector of New Zealand, be it a business population or a city or something, could have massively negative impacts from that. Come on, boy, this is not okay. This is not okay. You took on this job. You wanted this job. You said you were the person for this job. Do the fucking job. Don't half-ass it and go like, yeah, but I'm not a politician. So, don't worry. Don't look at me. Don't listen to what I'm saying because I speak improper, not well, that good mostly. Just come on. Do your job. Just fucking do your job.
We came real close to that diplomatic incident too with Korea. Like his handling.
And the ferries. You're talking about the ferries?
Letting no boats cancel those ferries via fucking text.
Yeah.
Without involving the ambassador or anything like that, was about as close to the fucking win. What are the fourth or fifth biggest trading partner we have?
Yeah.
That's incredibly blasé and shows that he isn't a politician because he didn't consider any of the political fallout. Now that also ties in with everything that we have seen from this man. I've spoken about how he doesn't recognise political capital when he has it. He doesn't recognise when it's on the table for him to get. He's blind to it. But then when he does try to do something, he comes at it with a marketing view, like that whole thing with was it Albanese in the helicopter to eat a pav on top of a market. You know that's a tourism marketing campaign with terrible optics that didn't work, and it stinks of Luxon. He thought that personally was a good idea.
Hey, Chewy, though, you're mentioning that, okay, this is where the hypocrisy and the bullshit meter goes off, right?
I'm just going to pull this off the screen so you guys can have a chat.
If you were CEO of New Zealand Inc., right? And one of your middle managers cancelled a contract to a large company that was doing lots of business with New Zealand Inc., you'd be furious at them. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, as a CEO, cancelling a contract with a big supplier, competitor business who you need by a text wouldn't be acceptable either. So that example you've just given just goes to show again, he's not a politician, and he's not a good he's not a politician, and he's not a good businessman either. Because if anyone thinks that business practice is okay, then they need their heads read. So he doesn't do anything well.
I always think this when people come over from business into politics. And yes, there are some skill sets that translate, you know, if you have built something. You know, if Luxon came from a business background where he had built a team, he had, you know, he had an idea, it was good, he found investors, he brought the right people in to grow the business, fucking fantastic. Awesome, good for you. He has worked for McDonald's, Unilever, and Air New Zealand. He hasn't built anything.
Yeah.
So,
that's
so
why
he's always
not a businessman. He's not a businessman. He's a middle
structures.
Yeah.
He's inherited structures. He's been given products. He's been given brands. You know, he hasn't built anything. He didn't take a destroyed National Party and had personal input into who came on board. If he did, one of the people that came on board was Uffindell. Someone so toxic to the brand, so fucking compromised because of his history, but they went, nah, he's worked in international banking. Good job. You know, we've got some questions about his. Yeah, exactly. So even though he's constantly going to have this hanging around his head every time he comes up, oh, that's Sam Uffindell, the guy that beat up that kid or terrorized women to the point that they had to climb out windows of his flat. You know, that's always going to be there. But they went, yep, he's the right one. He's the one that came on board during Luxon's term. So we'll judge him on that. He is not a good team builder. He's not bringing all of New Zealand with him like a good leader would. He's not inspiring, and we can see that from his term at Air New Zealand. You speak to a lot of people that worked at Air New Zealand while he was at the helm. As we have, Pat, we've spoken to people that were involved in contract negotiations while he was at the lead and his behaviour through that. And that is borne out through him as Prime Minister now. So it tracks. He is not a good leader.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, if someone turns up to fix your wiring in your house and says, hey, look, I'm not a career electrician, but I bring some skills to the table. Oh, really? What skills are they? Are they being good at electrical stuff, and then he just preambles his way up into your ceiling space? You would be worried.
Yeah. Yes. Emily, I feel like we've ridden roughshod over your planning.
No.
Are we where are we at?
It's fine.
It feels very strange having someone else driving the car and me being in the back seat because I have no idea where we're going or how far we've got through that story.
McDonald's. McDonald's.
Like we can sit in the back seat with Simeon.
we get an ice cream? Can we pick up a hick tiger?
Shut up,
Ma.
Look at
Chewie.
that
I'm
dog.
trying to run a show here. Shush. Be quiet.
Sorry, miss.
Kidding. Someone just, it's just, you guys basically just answered the same question that the reporter asked, which was, is it not important to be a good communicator? And he just essentially says the same talking points. But there is a moment about, you're just saying about being a dick and being a prick. There is a moment right at the end that he gets asked a question, and I think you see a real genuine Luxon. And he,
gets pissy,
I think you see, oh yeah, it's a moment where I go, oh, that's the Luxon I'm used to seeing. Hopefully, I haven't got it timestamped, but someone just said arrogant prick, and I was just like, oh yeah. But I think this is worth showing because there's. I was talking about it on Friday about how we just sort of watch these people we see a lot of them. We see a lot of press conferences. We see a lot of their interactions with the media. We see a lot of the way that they answer things. And there's certain tells I think I'm starting to pick up with Luxon where I think I know when
His
he's
mouth's
genuinely.
moving. Is that part of it? His mouth's going up and down. Is that one of them?
I don't know what it is, but there's a bit where he cracks, and I think this is one of the moments where he's cracking like an egg. Hopefully, I think it's this wee bit here where someone asks about dismantling focus groups. Sorry, I'm
New
going to play
Zealand.
through.
I can often have 2 polls in any given week, and I'm telling you, the New Zealanders out there are not asking me the questions that you're asking me to say, let's have another conversation and use this session to talk about polls.
I'll ask
Why
you
don't we
this
talk
question.
about what we're doing to grow the economy, to lower cost of living for Kiwis? That's what they actually say to me each and every day. They're frustrated that they want a faster pace of the recovery. I am so is Nicola. That's what we're working hard to do.
Related to that,
Sorry, mate.
Just related to that, RNZ reported last week that you no longer read focus group research because it's so overwhelmingly negative about you. Is that correct?
That's rubbish.
Just the bond market.
I reckon that's. I think
Get
that
fucked.
is him genuinely going, get fucked. It's either that or he's just sick of fielding questions for the last 3 days about this.
Look,
but
first of all, that's rubbish and fuck you, and I don't like you either. But also, someone invented the word cloud specifically to bully me personally.
God, wouldn't
I
that be
think the other
interesting?
reason
A word cloud of his press conferences, like for the last 6 months. Holy crap! Get the minions onto that.
If you had to put money on the biggest word on voter feedback on Christopher Luxon, what do you think the biggest word in the word cloud would be? I put $5 on it being arrogant.
I was thinking arrogant or dismissive, but that's a big word. Something that people would just generally use. Useless, inauthentic.
Inauthentic. But the unions picked this before the election, even before he was elected. The unions picked it. They did an amazing campaign where it says out of touch, and they use the same words: out of touch, arrogant, dismissive. Well, maybe not dismissive because he hadn't really had to answer for anything yet. But they picked it up straight away. They're like, this is going to be a guy who just no one can get with. Like he's just no one's on board with this guy. He's unrelatable.
You're unrelatable. I think that's it.
We got some super chats to go through.
Yeah, man.
And then we can go.
I need to
through the
get
next
some more
bit.
Christmas lights. Super chats. I need to buy some more Christmas lights. Can you get a move on, please? Don't have.
We
don't
didn't
have
even
enough.
put all of them up. There's more to put up there.
Don't have enough of them. Need more. Need more.
We're running out of space for them.
They're Easter lights now. They're not Christmas lights.
Still relevant. All right. Study Boy. I think that's a new one. Thank you, Study Boy NZ, for your $10. Select me as the next national leader, but they wouldn't want that.
I did a poll.
You could.
I did a poll. We don't talk about polls.
poll
but I think
was-
I did one.
Something else. Or someone else. A dog in a hat would be great.
I did a poll.
Did you
on
do a
Twitter.
poll?
I did a poll. You keep going. I'll try and find it. I'm just trying to grandpa my way through Twitter.
Citizen Golf for $5 says 203 days to register, 216 until we vote, and hope your house returns to health soon, Pat.
Goodbye.
Junkrig Sailor, that's a new name as well, thank you, for $5 says Duncan Grifter Garner's podcast says is some big breaking news tomorrow, embarrassing to Hipkins via the release of the COVID report.
Well, I actually watched Duncan Garner's thing tonight, and he said there would be. I don't know if he said there is. Like, in other words, that's coming out tomorrow. The complete waste of time, waste of money. I think it's going to make no difference at all. That's going to leave no one happy. Because it's not going to be anything that this government kind of puts into practice. And it's not going to say Nuremberg 2.0 for the people who want that. So no one's going to be happy tomorrow. It'll be delicious.
Yep. Andrew K for $5 says it's actually disgusting that he can go on hosking every week, but not our public broadcaster when they make it flexible to him. Low quality PM.
Yeah, low quality. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good name for a radio station. Low quality FM. Could do that.
That sounds like that's just us. That's our nickname, isn't it?
That's us.
Hey, actually, tangent time.
That's what they say.
On Saturday, I went to some very old friends of mine put on a little mini punk fest down here in just outside of Dunedin. And I, at the last minute, decided to go on. I have never felt more like a fucking rock star than that. I was approached by so many people.
Cool.
Only some of them recognised me from BHN. I had people going, "Are you Chewy that used to run Inferno FM back in the day?"
Oh,
cool.
wow.
And that was amazing. The other amazing thing that happened is that they had a David Seymour effigy that was burned when it got dark. And I'm like, this is good. This is good vibes.
The only thing that could be one better than that is a David Seymour pinata, because then it's full of lollies, and then when it's dealt to, everyone gets lollies. Or bees. I've got my poll here. Do I want to say my poll? Are you finished with the super chats, or we got more?
Yeah, might as well. Go about $2.70, perfect, because they were 27 minutes late. Beta says Luxon gives bread and circuses without the bread. And just to reiterate, arrogant and entitled. Thank you.
So that maybe that's the words. So I put up a poll 30 hours ago. Should Luxon go tomorrow? Who do you think will be his successor? I put up 4 names. What do you think of the 4 names I put up? Who would be the 4 realistic next leaders?
Erica, Bishop, Mitchell, Goldsmith.
Didn't do Mitchell. Chewy?
Not Mitchell?
Anyone else? Willis.
Oh, God, that's an uninspiring lineup.
I thought Willis was just like struck off immediately, though.
Well, you know, she's number 2, so you got to put it out there. And basically, the 2 that we've been talking about for the past year, Erica Stanford and Chris Bishop. And this is on Twitter. So this is from Cesspit FM. Chris Bishop at 39, Erica Stanford at 34, Paul Goldsmith 20, Nicola Willis 8. And that was 1,000 views or something. So
I saw a couple of opinion pieces that have written Mark Mitchell off for counted.
That's
in every single one of them, they describe him as a Luxon loyalist.
And he's a mercenary.
Say that because I saw numbers today.
Bodies on his world hill somewhere.
I saw the numbers today that said he's actually risen 4%, up to 11. So,
but that's the public.
And I think, but I was saying end of last year with the stuff. Early this year with the flooding, that I think he actually went up in everyone's books because it's probably the most ministerial I've ever seen any of the national ministers with his response to the flooding. Like he was actually there on the ground, and I think he genuinely was actually doing the work to help people, and I think that did really good for his reputation. Don't love the guy, but I think he did a great job.
Anytime that Sam Uffendale was in the background, I think he was trying to get on the other side of the screen just for optics' sake. I think everyone was. That's why there was all those photos with Sam Uffendale standing here, then a big massive gap, and then everyone standing in a straight line on the other side of the screen.
I think when it comes to Stanford, she's had a shocking 6 months. You know, we spoke often about how her skill set was letting David Seymour gleefully front foot all of the educational bullshit.
Yeah.
So it didn't touch her. And now that's faded as she's had to be a bit more prominent. And front footing the things like, let's get rid of Māori words in children's learning books and stuff like that. And she's having to do this stuff that I think that's hurt her brand personally.
Yeah.
People that would have looked to her as a more liberal face to national.
Yep.
So yeah,
it's Bish, isn't it? It's Bish. If anyone was, and unless of course it was going to get replaced, like because there is that chance that no one's going to want it. No one's going to want the poison pill. And if no one wants the poison pill, it could be someone like Goldsmith, or if he gets rolled tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, Bish is the one, and he's also, no matter how many people are going to throw up in the back of their mouth when I say this, he is more relatable than the other ones. He's the Bish, and he's mates with Kieran.
That.
You know,
I would give him that. And I think this is the thing. He benefits from his playful relationship with Kieran.
With Kieran, yeah.
The question becomes, what do Labour do? Because Kieran is really good at taking Chris down. And I think there's an asset. I know he doesn't want the job, but like at the debates, can you imagine? Can you imagine the debates?
I mean, one
someone
of the
in the
things
chats has mentioned Louise Upston. No. Louise Upston was in the news cycle this week for going to Gloria Vale and seeing their workshops and stuff like that. Now, this is basically the same week, or maybe the week after, that they found the leader of Gloria Vale guilty for 20 years worth of sex offending and giving him a real light sentence. And then Louise Upston goes to Gloria Vale and go, I went through the whole facility and I didn't see any child abuse. Really? A guest on an organised trip from the government, and they didn't do the sex offending and the child abuse in front of you? My mind's put at rest, Louise.
All those journalists that the IDF take to the border of Gaza. Oh, look fine to us. Really? Wonder why that is. That's kind of weird. Weird things. Yeah.
Hey,
right.
What's
going on?
I have found some word clouds.
Oh, really?
Oh, did you?
Luxon word clouds.
Christopher Luxon word cloud. Now, this is from 2024. What one word best describes Christopher Luxon? And the biggest word there is business, followed closely by leader, arrogant, greedy, unsure. Other words worth highlighting: hypocrite, entitled,
Progressive.
liar, and stupid. But here's the comparison. There's another word cloud I found.
We talked about this. Is this Jacinda? Oh, John Key.
John Key.
Wow. Charismatic.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the thing. He's another
year?
smarmy, arrogant business guy. But the biggest word here is charismatic.
Yeah, wow.
And like, as much as I didn't like the guy, he was more likable to the electorate than Luxon could ever dream of. And these guys are mates. They have dinner with each other every weekend, apparently.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter, Chewy. I mean, we all know arseholes that we're friends with. I mean, look at us.
Yeah.
So, just because one of us is a good guy doesn't mean the other one has to be. And look, to be honest with you, this is character, isn't it? So, I mean, you can't change someone's character because you're friends with them. If someone's more charismatic than someone else. But that's still interesting that charismatic, honest, and personable would be the top three there. Then after that, smarmy, leader, intelligent, confident. Yeah, it's real interesting actually, because I do remember, I can't remember what news channel it was.
Interesting too.
They did one with Jacinda, and I can remember we did a piece on it. The news outlet that was saying it listed off like 3 terrible words that were in her word cloud, and they were like the third layer down. The ones that were the big words were all real positive ones, and this news site decided to lead with like 3 of the worst ones, even though they like, if it was looking at this one, they'd be like the pragmatic, competent, and leader. Those kind of 3 size words were the words that this news article led with. And if you look at the actual word cloud, it was actually quite impressive.
It's a terrible image, so I'm not going to put it up, but I found Simon Bridges' one. Biggest word on Simon Bridges' word cloud.
Simon?
Untrustworthy.
Oh, wow.
It's so much bigger than any of the other words. But one of the other bigger ones here, dodgy and dickhead.
Dickhead's great. That's a real Kiwi, and none of those have got that, is it?
Yeah. But yeah, like
I mean, wasn't even that bad.
Can you imagine that at one of these dinner dates between Luxon and Key, you know, oh mate, I'm just not. What? How can I be likable like you? John Key sitting back, smoking a cigar, drinking a glass of Chardonnay or something like that. And he goes, I don't know. Have you tried being likable? That's what I did. People liked me. I don't see what's so hard about it.
Just 2011 for context, guys. That was at the end of his first term, or just partway through the end of his first term. So there you go. That's what you're coming up with after those 3 years. That's saying a lot, I think.
Hey, are you interested at all? I can't have it on because I'm not on my thing. So I found that thing with Jacinda. And the headline is something like, what's the headline? Oh, I've lost it. But it was dismissive to whatever, from amazing to divisive. And that's based on the word cloud. And I'm just looking at the word cloud now. The word cloud, the word divisive is there. Come on, jump through. Gosh.
Sorry, but anything that describes Jacinda Ardern as being divisive compared to what this government have done, like, did Jacinda Ardern have like a 80,000 person march through the middle of Wellington? No, but this government did.
Because she was nice and empathetic.
The big words are good, caring, and kind, and the story led with divisive. Because the word is there, divisive is there, but the biggest word is good, followed by caring, followed probably by kind, and then probably there's a group that say great, empathetic, capable, and then useless and incompetent. But like 8 of that top 10 are not divisive, but that's what News Hub chose to lead with.
Hey guys, here's a good one. Remember the John Key 3-man handshake?
Yeah, the man shake.
Personally, I think if John Key had any integrity at all, he would have gone on TV at the earliest opportunity and go, hello, New Zealand. You all saw that. I know you saw that. So I resign effective immediately, and I will see out my days on an island with no internet connection. Fare thee well. That's the only way to honourably deal with that.
Oh, fuck off.
No, we're here.
Wait, no, you guys are also on the South Island.
I know. I'm allowed to. That was self-deprecating.
That was
self-deprecating. There we go. The Aucklander came out of his shell again.
Oh, it did. That's what it was. That's why it pierced my heart. Get out of here.
No more cheese rolls for you.
Never had one.
All right, we need to hurry up because we've got 2 more stories to get through and it's already 10 o'clock. So, typical. As you guys may know, crude oil is on a steep incline. And when I say steep incline, here is the latest steep incline. That is literally a straight line.
I learned something which might be good for everyone to pay attention to. They reckon $10 per barrel more is about 10 cents per litre. So if it goes up by $100, what's that? $10? 100 times 10 cents, $10. Something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
No, $1.
So
$1.
I just thought I'd show you this before we get into the meat and potatoes of the story, to give you some context of the shitfuckery we are currently or just about to experience. I'll play the stuff story from tonight that kind of goes through a wee bit of it.
Is this guy aware he's got a camera in front of him? He looks very surprised.
I don't know what his position is, but he is from Waitomo, so he's probably feeling the crunch a little bit right now.
All right.
But there's the clip we're going to start with is actually Iran's response to this whole war and essentially kind of holding the cards a little bit when it comes to fuel prices. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of agree with the take that they're coming out with here. I think it's a smart move from them. But we'll have a listen, and then there's a couple other clips, and then I'm going to show you guys perhaps a bit of behind the scenes about what it means about having oil reserves, because I don't know if we do have oil reserves.
Okay.
Oh, I know.
When they
I
can
know
and
about
while
this
they
one.
can.
Iran is threatening to attack oil facilities across the region after Israel struck at least 5 energy sites in and around Tehran, fueling fears the conflict could severely shock the global economy. Iranian leadership saying yesterday if you can tolerate oil at more than $200 per barrel, continue this game. Analysts say that would push New Zealand petrol prices towards an eye-watering $4 a litre.
The peak was 147.
I'm surprised it's that low because it's already at basically getting close to $3 a litre. So to go up another $110
now.
Yeah, so that's what they're saying. Another $100 is another $1, 10 cents per $10. Yeah, I'm surprised it's that low. I remember like way back when I was a student, I used to work at petrol stations, and I can remember having conversations with a mate going, oh, when the price goes up by 7 cents a litre, does it really matter? I've got a 30-litre tank that's 7 3s are 21. It's up by $2, so not really a big deal. And he went, yeah, but it's when it goes up by 7 and then 10 and then 8 and then 12, and all of a sudden it's 70 cents more per litre, then 70 cents over, so it makes it's a lot more. It makes it $20 more rather than $2 more, sort of thing. Yeah, I've done some stats today actually, and I'll also. I want to mention this if we're talking about fuel, about the bloody whinges in America, how they're hard at the moment, but what they're actually paying for petrol versus us.
Yeah.
But I'm done. Keep going.
I'll keep going.
It was 147 back in 2008, and some industry leaders and ministers are predicting that it could possibly get above that price.
Trump
posts on Truth Social, get the fuck over it, guys. I'm going for peace. All is well in the world.
Differently.
It's got to
basically sums up that tweet.
Impact our economy. Tourism, we rely upon our jet fuel. We're doing our horticulture and viticultural harvesting right now. That relies upon diesel. All those cost inputs are going to go up.
Shouldn't.
So it's going to add to the inflation.
The Prime Minister
Very much so. Prime Minister says what he says. We saw a bit of that. Oh, did we go through it? Not really, but you can imagine what he said. The question was put to Nicola Willis as well during the press conference about reducing the tax on fuel as a bit of a breather, like they did during COVID.
Yep. She was very patronising after that, by the way. Don't know what they got, but she was incredibly patronising.
She was.
Tax.
I think this is a time for politicians to tell the truth, which is there is no easy answer on that, because if we are to suddenly reduce petrol tax, actually every taxpayer pays for that.
Electric vehicle.
Chewy's favourite, electric vehicles. What are we going to do?
Dealers here are also bracing for a surge in demand, just as they saw when the Ukraine war pushed fuel prices higher.
I think we'll sell out in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll end up doing a couple of months' worth of business in a couple of days, and then spend the rest of the year trying to catch up. We'll be exceptionally busy if it gets to those levels.
But Simon Palm says there are other factors at play in how high prices could get.
Over the weekend, the Singaporean government has released strategic reserves, so that's going to hopefully flatten out prices a little bit. And we've also got the International Energy Agency that has 90-day of stock around the globe as well. So all of these items need to play into the market before we can sort of make predictions on how high it could go.
But for now,
so this international organisation that he's talking about is basically a volunteer group of most of the developed world, for lack of a better description. And the agreement there is that everybody should have at least 3 months worth of fuel reserves available. Now, how much fuel does New Zealand have in our borders right now? 3, maybe 4 weeks. So where are our reserves? Korea and Singapore.
Well, according to the Prime Minister and Nicola Willis, there's a whole bunch on boats at the moment coming to New Zealand, and the Prime Minister specifically mentioned today another 29 days coming on boats. Now, I said that to Emily, and Emily went, I don't know if that's right. So maybe there's more news to come. So if we do have reserves, they are, and the Minister of Finance specifically said these are boats that are already en route. They're outside the Strait of Hormuz, and so that's safe and that's there. Which does, of course, raise a question, Chewy. If we've already purchased the stuff, why the hell is petrol prices going up at all? We've got all this fuel and stuff coming to us. Why is it going up now?
Because there's money to be made. Look, there's a bunch of things that are all happening here to do with this. The US has an enormous strategic reserve, because they're a major oil producer in their own right. They have a massive military. There are already grumblings coming out of the Trump administration that they hadn't followed through with a promise, that Biden had run down that strategic reserves to try and keep domestic fuel prices low, because that was good for his polling, apparently. Trump hasn't filled it back up when he had the chance. They've gone into this war without any strategic planning. Their strategic reserves are still low. Now, this might be part of the reason why they went into Venezuela. Don't even worry about it. Just put that out of your mind. China has stopped their domestic producers exporting. They've gone, this is going to get worse before it gets better. We're going to hold on to what we've got. We're not selling. Shut up shop. Now, if our fuel reserves are in Singapore and Korea, I'd be real worried about that. You've got all of the major world's production. Russia is another major producer. We're not buying from them for obvious reasons. Nobody is, apart from India. Everything else comes out of the Middle East. And that tap has been shut. So unless this resolves quickly, or unless we have a government that has a little bit of forward thought and starts going, maybe we need to flatten the curve a little bit. I don't believe that they'll do that. I believe that they'll hope that it all comes out in the wash. But if they get it wrong, we're going to be looking at rationing. Because, all of our fuel production is going to go towards agriculture. It's going to go towards our exports and shipping products around. Everything has the potential to get a lot more expensive.
If only there was a way, Chewy, to get out of the combustion engine cycle of requiring petrol to get you from point A to point B. But there's just not. We are stuck in that cycle.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do about it. There's literally nothing we can do about
nothing that the last government was doing about it, having a system that was net flow positive by the time these guys cancelled it. Nothing they could do about it either.
Yeah. Now, since we're talking about fossil fuels, we have to hear from a couple of fossils. Shane Jones and Winston Peters have chosen their moment to dig up another dinosaur idea. Labor shouldn't have shut Marsden Point as their talking point at the moment, and they're going to bring it back. Now, this is a lie that both of them have chosen to spout over the last weekend, I think. A couple of appearances and a Facebook video from Shane Jones have all said that Labor shut Marsden Point. Marsden Point wasn't a state-owned enterprise. It was private enterprise. And they did the business case that we could refine oil cheaper in Singapore and in Korea, and that's why our reserves are there. And so those major shareholders decided to shut it. It wasn't a government decision, but they are happy to pin that on Labor, and nobody is pushing back on them on that. So never let a crisis go to waste, guys.
Do you guys want to read through a lovely little newsroom article that
At some point, I want to talk I'll talk about the US and the US prices as well. But yep, for sure, whatever you need.
All right. So this is basically just diving into what Chewy has just talked about. It was an article. When was this posted, actually? 2 days ago.
7th of the 3rd.
So global oil choke point will show just how fragile our fuel security is. So what we are not talking about, which is basically what Chewy just discussed there about our oil reserves. They use the example of Australia because obviously they've got this similar in a lot of respects in terms of this oil security stuff. So in Australia, they have their reserves are currently at 36 days of petrol, 34 days of diesel, 32 days of jet fuel, which is the highest levels in 15 years. The numbers include fuel that's still aboard ships within Australia, within Australia's exclusive economic zone. The official report of debates and proceedings in the Senate chamber, blah, blah, blah. Data putting onshore only petrol at 26 days, diesel at 25 days, quite at odds with the headline figure. New Zealand, the minimum stock holdings obligation came into effect this time last year, January last year. It requires importers to hold 28 days of petrol, 24 days of jet fuel, 21 days of diesel onshore or in transit. The Ministry of MBI, Business, Employment, Innovation has confirmed that the current stock holdings exceed the minimums. But New Zealand also holds International Energy Agency oil tickets, paper commitments from the US, UK, Japan to supply emergency barrels should we need it. Paper tickets are a long way from a tanker full of oil. If the strait stays closed and those countries are simultaneously stressed, the tickets are worth less than they appear. It also talks about those refineries. Tourism was obviously going to be majorly hit because we're talking about fuel and jet fuel. Fertilizer, I think they touched on it in the press conference as well. A lot of that comes out of the Middle East. And then the article is discussing the efficiency versus economic being cheap, etc. What you're talking about, Chewy. So what is this going to hit? So just some context as well. The trucks that stock the supermarket shelves run on imported diesel. The ambulances run on imported diesel. The tractors that grow the food and the ships that export it to run on imported fuel. This is a just-in-time supply chain. It's about optimization right until the moment a supreme leader is killed and an insurance underwriter in London stops answering the phone. We both ourselves and Australia have a National Oil Suppliers Emergency Committee. And there is neither of the governments have activated the framework for rationing. Or published a public drawdown scenario, but what is the plan after day 30? Is the question. There you go, guys.
Yeah, so I saw an opinion piece that says, like, there was a couple of things. Oil has hit $100 a barrel before, but the last time it did it was around 2015. And it did it gradually. I forget what was going on around it. They spoke about it in the article. But it stepped up to that point slowly so people could prepare for it. There has been no warning. Like, America went in with no build-up, no signalling that shit was going to get bad, or that it was going to bleed out into the other Gulf states and the strait was going to get closed. So it's the shock that is going to get us on this one. And like the only frame of reference we have of the last time that something got this bad was the 1979 oil crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Funnily enough, because of what was going on in Iran. But that here in New Zealand led to carless days. Ask your parents about that. So yeah, whether we're smarter than people in 1979 or not, that stands to reason. But I think this really underlines the fact that our government, when we need a liquid natural gas terminal, that is the way to give us energy resilience. And we straight away said, no, because if anything goes wrong overseas, we're fucked. And then, because we're in the nightmare timeline, that immediately happened just to underline our point.
Yeah. You're right, a little too early.
So this really does need to become an election issue. We have a government and a party that is like, yep, fossil fuels are the way to go. Let's spend billions of dollars on this. We need the other parties that want to be the government to really hammer the flag to the mast and to go, no, we need to go the other way. We need to harvest what we have here that doesn't need to go through a refinery. That is a more economical use of our money. That makes us resilient in a fucking crazy world.
I was also doing some numbers today because this is obviously this American thing. Oh, our petrol's going up, our petrol's going up. As of today, the average price in America, remember Trump's been saying it's under $2, it's under $2. That's his little yardstick. So it's jumped up to $3.45 average at the minute. And it's per gallon. So $3.45 in New Zealand dollars, it's $1.70 per dollar, is $5.87 per gallon. The US, a gallon is 3.79 litres. So that means America paying $3.45 and bitching and moaning and bleating is the equivalent of petrol in New Zealand being $1.54 a litre. Because it's $5.87 per gallon New Zealand dollars, divide that by 3.79 to turn it into litres, it's $1.54 per litre. And America is like losing their freaking mind.
Yeah, so I did this for one of my American friends that was talking about how much it cost to fill up her Jeep the other day. And I think I did the conversion the other way.
Mm-hmm.
I converted New Zealand prices into US dollars per gallon at our price.
Yeah.
And I think it was something like $9.47.
Well, they've talked about $7 a gallon, so I did that as well. So $7 a gallon is $11.90 New Zealand. $11.90 New Zealand per gallon, per US gallon, is $3.13 per litre. So you're probably going to be looking at about $7 is about three. I mean, like $6.90 per gallon would be about $3 per litre. So they've got they've got to double what they are now before they get to that, but that's a give or take.
And I'll tell you why they're squealing about that. Everyone drives everywhere in America.
And they drive big things.
Nothing.
They don't care about
2 hours.
Yeah. I mean, the F-150 is I think the most sold vehicle in America, the Ford truck, the F-150, and it's some ridiculous thing, like one sold every 30 seconds or something. So they drive V8s and V6s, and they're like, oh, fuck economy, I just want a big exhaust. So when this happens, they're screwed. Whereas in Europe, obviously Europe, even though they've got some big, powerful luxury cars, they've tied that in with economy and, operating. Like I remember, Chewy, you probably know this. You want to know the difference between America and Europe? World War II, the Germans had the Panzer tank, is that right? The Panzer or the Tiger?
Yep.
And the Americans had the Tiger?
And
what did the Americans have? Was the Americans have the Tiger? What did the Americans have?
The Germans had the Tiger. The Americans had the Sherman.
Okay. So there's a saying that shows the difference between American and German technology, which is like every Panzer tank is worth 4 Shermans. But the problem for Germany is America turned up every time with 5 German tanks, 5 Shermans. So they had more to overpower them and still win. But I think that technology has traveled through to today. When you see it in their vehicles, the Germans and Europeans make big, powerful, economical vehicles. Americans just want something. The classic example is NASCAR, isn't it? As long as it can turn left fast, that's all they really care about. Or drag strips, as long as it can go in a straight line, that's all they care about, and that's what they do. So, I don't know. I know it's economies of scale, and what you are used to paying is what you end up paying. But Yeah, at the moment they're paying $1.54 per litre, and everyone's losing their minds over it.
Look, this whole thing just shows for mugs what our government is. You had David Seymour fucking trying to dunk on Air New Zealand for looking at woke technology like biofuels and electric planes. This is why they're looking at it. You know, this is why people are like, what is the most economical way we can move freight around the country? It's coastal shipping and rail. Should we do more of that? No, trucks. You know, it's one of the other stories that came out today. Did you see this? The person from Kiwi Rail that's quit?
No.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So get this. He's on the board or part of the management for a trucking company. That trucking company donates $20,000 to New Zealand First. New Zealand First become part of the government. Winston Peters, Minister of Rail, appoints this guy to head Kiwi Rail. He's supposed to be there for 3 years. It is pointed out how much of a conflict of interest that he has, not only because he is part of this trucking company, but because of the 11 other transport-related or contracting to Kiwi Rail businesses that this guy's involved with. They have to come up with a whole framework to avoid his conflicts of interest. Everybody else on the Kiwi Rail board mentions how much work that means that they have to do because he can't, he's always got, I can't have anything to do with this guy's conflict of interest. Anyway, he's decided he's out now. But does that not sound like fucking corruption to you?
I'm sure it's all fine, Chewy. I don't see any
everything's fine. Look away.
Yeah, but the OAA showed that they already acknowledged all of these conflicts of interest. There was even like a little diagram which showed all the points of interest across the board where there was conflicts, and they were managing it, though, Chewy.
Do you remember?
Did you see the
how
graph?
vicious people were over Nanaia Mahuta's conflict of interests?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
For Andrew Wood's $1,400. $14,000.
Yeah,
Michael
no, it's
Wood,
cool
sorry,
though.
not Andrew Wood.
It's cool.
Michael Wood.
Yeah, it's cool though. Everything's fine. But yes, look, the guy talking about electric vehicles. Like I saw a story today. There is an electric vehicle, brand fucking new, that you can get for under $25,000 today.
Really?
It's a year old. They're having a demonstrator sellout or something like that. It's got a hilarious name. It's called the Dongfeng Box.
Oh, they were 30 just a few weeks ago. They already dropped down to 25.
Yes, they were. Now they're under 25,000. They've taken $8,000 off the price because they've got a new one coming in November. You can go and buy an old Nissan Leaf with a rooted battery for fucking under $5,000. But look at how much mileage you do every day. Most people do under 70k in a day. And you plug your car in when you get home and you don't buy petrol anymore. Like, just be realistic. Like, this shit will scare people, and if we ever get to the point of fuel rationing, it'll really scare people.
Yeah. And then there'll be all the EVs
getting scared.
The EVs going, hey, should we go to Queenstown this weekend? Any day you want. Because they can.
I did see that.
All of our fuel reserves are in Korea and Singapore, and if China and America decide to fucking bang heads over Taiwan or something like that, that's awfully close to our oil. So maybe we should lessen our reliance on it, just generally. And if the government isn't going to do it, then it, like everything, right? You do your recycling, you make the best choices, and then America goes and blows up an entire country's oil reserve to the point where it's acid rain in Tehran and there's rivers of burning oil and it's like it's nighttime in the middle of the day. You know, you just got to do what you can do.
Dude, that dong thing for 26,990 officially. I only know that because I'm keeping an eye because the Atto, the BYD Atto, is it the Atto 1? Is 29,990 at the moment, but it's only got a 200k range. This Dongfeng, its downside is the safety features aren't quite as good on it, but it does.
Yeah, it's got 2 airbags rather than 6 or whatever. But,
I mean, it's a
but for 10k less, like, what does that matter?
And it's a town car.
Yeah, it's a town car, and you can go to people who want to have a ride in my Dong box. You know, the jokes write themselves.
Dongfeng box.
Dongfeng, but like if you put some respect on that name, do you want to jump in my box and go for a spin? It's just great.
Yeah.
Jump in the Dong box and go for a spin. Sounds like a great night.
Oh, is it too late to encourage people to start cycling? Well, if you're somebody that lives in Wellington, yes. Because Wellington's glorious left Labour fucking what is it, mayor? I was going to call him president, and they're not quite there yet. No. They've decided that they've got some funding issues, so the first thing on the chopping block is anything to encourage cycling and climate change resilience. Oh, does anyone else hear their ringing in the ears and the pressure just behind the eyes? Andrew Little, you did exactly what people thought you would do, and just be really cowardly and centrist and just no vision. But yeah, cycling is valid, and any council that's been out there and just been fighting for cycle lanes, this is the sort of thing that will pay off when people will go, oh, you've got wonderful cycling facilities around your city, and I don't need to take my car now that petrol is $4 a litre. You know, the stuff matters. It's important. It's vision.
Right. Well, now that Pat's gone, shall we get through some super chats?
Pat said no. He's gone off to buy a Dongfeng box.
He's gone to go get his Dong box.
Dong box.
Dong box. I'm for a ride in my Dong box. It's the ad writes itself, guys. I'm just saying.
This is why I don't work in radio advertising anymore, because if someone put that you need to write a radio ad for the Dongfeng box, I would lose my job.
You would. Here's my options. No. All right. Right. Ian for $2 says to AI, we must support our independent media. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Sounds good.
Ian also says we all must support our independent media sources. Okay, I think they may have just clarified there. Uadirudu for $5 says 70s oil crisis part 2. Anyone? Given our previous time frames, we can expect social revolution in 10-ish years. I hope we're a little bit before then. Nice.
I'm tired, boss. It needs to be before then.
Yeah, no, we're 5 years into it, so it's hopefully less than that. Mr. Abbas says the left are right too early or just in time in this case. Yep. No, we were right about the ferries. We were right about that thing that we talked about that we're referring to here. I can't remember what it was. Yeah. Happens a lot.
We were right about New Zealand First just being a bunch of grifting, corrupt fucks.
Gary Burb, $2 says, go broke, go woke, embrace public transport. And if anyone's like, I can't afford an EV vehicle, which is totally fair. If you do want to invest in something electric, 100% get yourself an e-bike. If you live in Christchurch and you live within like the main city border, and I'm talking like not even like the outer, not your Rolleston obviously, but your outer suburbs, get a fucking EV. Something that our council has actually done is invest in cycleways, and I got from one side of town to the other so much quicker than I thought I ever would in the pouring rain.
Because your
and I was
city is
like,
so hilariously flat.
It is. We are very privileged in that regard, but we also have fantastic cycleways that go through, like a network that goes through the city that is incredible. And if you get yourself an e-bike,
you had light rail, it'd be perfect.
Oh, they keep putting it out there as an idea. So yeah, if you don't have 10 grand for an EV, if you've got 3 to 5k, that you would like to splurge a little bit, get yourself an e-bike. You will save yourself so much money.
Yep.
That's my PSA for the day.
I'm going to put this hilarious joke up again. Take the car in for service and ask the mechanic, can you grease up my dong box, please?
Did you mute me when I left, by the way?
No? Did you say something inappropriate?
Well, I just wanted to know if you heard the toilet flush or not. But you didn't. That's good. I must have been talking over it.
At least you went off camera. Like, I'd be worried if you're just sitting there and then there's just a flush noise.
Wait, these are your microphone, are they? Oh no, that could have been very bad.
I got it on the porcelain wall to start with, so there was no gargle, but I couldn't really hide the flush. But I got rid of the rest of it. It's fantastic.
I wasn't paying attention, so nobody heard it. All right, we've still got a story to go through, and I think we do need to go through this because it is important. Except I can't find a photo of the guy. Maybe I'll just... What's his name? Well, he is Donald Trump's pick for New Zealand ambassador to Wellington. Well, to New Zealand.
Oh, God.
In Wellington.
Is it
Chuck's news? Is it a Fox News host?
Jared? Is it? Actually, it does say who he is. I'll read it in a second. What does he look like? Because it's not actually... Oh, yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Shiny teeth? Has he got good teeth?
Ambassador. Oh, there he is. There he is. Yeah, there he is. There you go. He looks totally stoked to be in that position, doesn't he? Oh, yeah. That's a man.
He's giving
Can't
good
wait
face.
to see him.
So
yeah.
what horrific industry is he in? Like the flaying of children, Fox and Friends, something.
Novelly a
sports business tycoon.
Known for his ownership of the Australian National Basketball League team, the Illawarra Hawks. He was first selected by Trump early last year. His nomination hadn't progressed until his hearing on last Friday. So, what did he say in his remarks about being our ambassador? In his opening remarks, Novelly said he would work tirelessly to advance President Trump's and Secretary Mark Rubio's foreign policies. In advancing the president's agenda, we have few better partners than New Zealand. The government of New Zealand consistently supports our goals in the region and beyond. Alongside being Trump's man in Wellington, the post comes with representing the US in Samoa, the Cook Islands, and Niue. Novelly intended to do everything in my power to take our relationship to new heights. He listed 3 priorities, including partnering with New Zealand to promote a free and open Pacific, expanding our defence partnership with New Zealand, and promoting opportunities for US business entities. Few countries understand the darkening security environment in the Pacific better than New Zealand. Last February, China conducted live fire exercises in the Tasman Sea. I was in the region at the time, and it was very concerning. The exercises led to flight diversions and represented an example of alarming, even destabilizing behavior in the Pacific. If confirmed, I would prioritize expanding our defence partnership with New Zealand. Novelly said embassies played a key role in ensuring a fair playing field for US entities. Whether it be through tearing down trade barriers or opening new markets, all US businesses will have a friend in the ambassador's office if I'm confirmed. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that did not sound like equal partnership. That sounded like the US are going to tell New Zealand what to do and what's important to the US, and we must comply. Because that's what I read between the lines.
Yeah, that is bad. None of that
bad.
is good. Let's strip mine the Cook Islands.
Oh yeah, that was part of it too.
Yeah, let's be chained in to buy weapons from the US.
Well, we already are, aren't we?
Yes, we are, but even more. You know? That's not good. And yuck.
Yep. There is nothing I read in the first few paragraphs of that made me think that any of that was good. That kind of made me sick to my stomach.
Our ambassador's crowning achievement seems to be buying a basketball team in Australia. It's hardly glowing. We're not, no, this is terrible.
I do like that he, I don't, read this to my husband and he's like, oh, who's gassing us up? And I'm like, oh no, that's not gassing us up. Those were threats. Those are low-key get in line threats. This whole thing of, wait, what was the line? The New Zealand government consistently supports our goals in the region and beyond. There was one that stuck out to me. I can't even see it, but yeah. We always have a friend in New Zealand. This government has been incredibly great in our interests in the Pacific region.
And saying all of
They don't give a
that,
shit.
People say what they need to do to get hired. I mean, there's also the rhetoric versus the real life. Can you imagine that ambassador trying to do anything with Chloe in government next year? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's true.
Hey,
that's true. But with the current government. Yeah.
So I've got a choice here to round out the show because there's been a lot this show. Do we want to watch video of a purring cat? A cat that's purring really loudly so everybody can turn up their speakers and just feel really comforted by this happy cat? Or do you want to watch the Facebook video of Shane Jones talking about Marsden Point, where he hilariously can't maintain a single consistent volume?
So you're giving us the option of either watching
I'm giving
a pussy,
you, the people.
We can either watch a pussy or we can watch a cat purring. Is that what you're saying?
I see what you've done there. Oh, we only have one vote for Shane so far.
Kitty.
Okay, shall
This
we
is why we like
do
Twitch.
the last
They have
piece?
emotes.
The last piece for the show is the purring cat. So those of you with headphones, settle in.
Strap on
Those
in.
of you on speakers, turn them up. It's 23 seconds of zen for you here.
Oh, thanks, Chewy.
When we take over the mainstream media, one of my first policies will be every time Shane Jones or David Seymour wants to make a televised statement, we just don't play it. We just have a purring cat.
Or it just slowly fades to just the audio drowns out and you just have a kitty cat.
I'm going to do one thing, seeing you've done this. I'm going to put it in the chat for you, Emily. Private chat. Because you've done a cat, so I'm going to do a cat as well.
I was going to get a real cat, but...
Yeah, me too.
Oh.
So you play my one, and that's what that's what I'm going to offer to finish it off with. You're probably not going to think it's real when you hear it, but it is. It's a condition that some cats have. Maximize it so they can't see the title.
Okay. Are we ready, boys and girls?
I'm ready. We're all ready. This is real.
Oh my God.
It's a condition, apparently.
Okay.
What are you doing, dog?
Nala wants to say hi before we have to go. Hey, there she is.
Been keeping an eye on your mum downstairs. Here you go. Off you go. Go.
Oh, that's been fun, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it.
Wow.
Yay.
Wow.
Oh shoot, we have wait, hang on, we can't go anywhere. We've got bloody
shit.
super chats to get through. Hang on, no, some of those we have done, so it's okay.
That list, you just culled all of that list.
I did, thank God for that. Else it could be here for a while. Peter says at least top up your bus pass. Good idea. Always have one of those. Exaldear says, imagine having brand spanking new state of the art burst of the kind electric ferries that were supposed to be here in late 2025. I literally thought of that as well. But then I also thought, actually, I don't think it would have made much of a difference because everything, they also include oil and diesel. So
it probably wouldn't have.
Would be nice though.
The whole idea with them was that they were hybrid and they were upgradable with more batteries later as the technology got better. Again, the forward thinking.
Yeah. And the other thing,
they're supposed to be electric.
Too expensive. We can just get a diesel one.
Yeah.
They were hybrids. Oh,
yeah,
fuck. Damn it. They actually would have helped.
And remember, the thing about it all is our other ones are out of date. And, you know, there have been some things that it didn't solve immediately, but we would have had one by now. And so the worst of the other day could have been put to pass. We would have one running now. What have they said? Something like 2090? Is that when the next one's coming?
Yeah. We'll be long dead, Pat.
That's all right.
What?
I'll let you know how it is from the grave. Another one from Study Boy NZ. $5 says, how much do I need to donate to get a cushy government job?
Well, if you donate it to us, we'll put in a good word with one of the left-wing parties if they're in next year. That works, eh? You're in 10 grand, Chewy, for us to get someone a job in Parliament?
Yeah, it sounds fair.
Yeah, cool.
Last one, JC and the Pigeon Cats sent a super sticker, I think, for $1.05, but I cannot see it. So.
Hey, Ems, thanks for
Jason.
helping out tonight. I have to actually say I'm so glad you are editing this show and not me, because that first hour, I don't know how the hell you're going. That was one story in an hour and 5 minutes.
Thanks,
so
Pat.
I'm very excited that you're doing the editing for this show. Oh, and I just got a message from someone. And I look forward to seeing the gems that you put out tomorrow. But we should probably let you get to it as well, because you're already going to be up until 4 in the morning trying to find those smart things that Chewy are saying.
Oh, thank you. Olvi is my number one fan, both here and on my personal Twitch page. So. Thanks, Olvi. Thank you.
All right.
We gotta get out of here. I think there's things that we must do, like partying into the evening.
Help us settle a debate, whether it be thoughtful or funny, even if we're all creatures of hate. It's a fine line that we're walking together. For better, push aside the temptation to berate. Let's take a note of the corners we stand in. As many points as the hairs on my chinny chin chin. When the news that we're watching is hairy, knowing all the things that we need to be wary of. Like the rich have the hand out for rewards, while the many have to work out what they can afford. And the rest of us ain't paying attention, or maybe have questions we're too worried to mention. Other media is still dwelling on trivial facts, vetting bees from the rice and the mice from the rats, and picking and choosing a warpath to run, and linking ourselves with the hill to die on. It's gotta come down to a welcoming vibe, with an A and a self and a higher in mind. All heavily either this way or that, and we'll be analyzed by what Chewy and Pat. With the evil in the world trying to mess with your head, and you're sitting on the couch, you're thinking chivalry's dead. Each night, 2 nights, they're gonna sing you to bed. It's Big Hairy News.
Thanks everybody for watching this episode of Big Hairy News. My cat and I say good night. Have a wonderful one. The boys will be with you back here tomorrow at 9 p.m.
Yeah,
And I'll see you
we'll
when I see
pan
you
out.
next.
We'll pan out what happens tomorrow to make sure it's all together. But we've got the COVID inquiry thing coming out, and I'm sure there'll be a whole bunch of cookers wanting to talk about all sorts of crazy things tomorrow night. Thanks, team. Done for me, Joey. Anything from you?
No. The horrors persist, but so do I. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, team. Hooroo.
Look after yourselves.
Cheers,
Bye, Johnny.
Mao.